Let me see if you can see yourself.
It's 6 o'clock. It's 6:01 already.
Oh, no. It is 6 o'clock. I will call this meeting the Juneau Utility Commission to order. Roll has been taken. Need a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Art, second by Dick to approve the agenda. Is there any questions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Minutes of the previous meeting.
Second.
Motion by Dick, second by Doug to approve the minutes of previous meetings. Any discussion at all? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Public appearances, let the record show. No one is present. Okay, we're moving on. Monthly business, approve the vouchers and the checks.
Motion to do that.
I'll second that.
Motion by Bart, second by Dick to approve the minutes of, the payments, the vouchers. Any discussion? Anybody have any questions on it? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Review prior month income statements. Anybody have any questions or concerns about any of that? Not, we will move on. Council acts affecting the utility, there are none. Consumption and loss report.
Rain and that meter's making you look good.
We can keep doing it.
I'm good with it.
that, yeah. It can stay that way. Gotta use it.
Are the numbers that all much different? Compared to what we're,
I guess are the billing gallons looking much different? I'm trying
No,
not like a major amount. I think those are really affected.
Did that sentient meter, Dan, when we installed that, happen around the same time we had that water tower dump? That we didn't see the correlation there, maybe?
No, I don't think so. I mean, that's not the first thing we changed metering in there. We reworked the, what do you call it, Alex, the flume and what have you. And it's about the third meter that I can remember that we've got in there since we did the joint metering at the sampling station there. So
I was just trying to think of Cause that seemed to be the start of all the big losses when that tower was dumped, and then I think we got that meter soon after that.
How many mains do we have fractured? You know, that might be dumping water into the earth that we don't know about. I mean, when you start blowing up pressure relief valves on water heaters around town and filling, shooting toilets up to the ceiling in the courthouse admin building and what have you, that's not a good thing. And look at how many leaks we had since then too. So how many fractures do we have in our system right now? But I would think most of that could be picked up with your sound testing or whatever you call that. So, I don't know.
All right. The numbers look good.
Yeah,
All
love
right.
to keep them that way.
Yes. All right. The totals of the delinquent customers. Company past 90 days.
Last one, because everything went to the tax bill.
That's what's outstanding, $22,000.
That's overdue. That's not what the amount that is owed to us right now is about 86,000. But the rest is current, the difference between that.
So is this going up? Is it because we can't turn you off this time of year type thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It'll get,
So that-
yeah. It'll keep on rolling.
They don't get away from it.
No, they still owe it that obviously, but
Not even 2 months into it yet, Doug.
how many people end up not paying? Any?
There's a ton. Oh, you mean after like this?
Yeah, come spring, come April.
There's some that'll
Like we move
picked
now.
up and moved and don't notify us. But not, I wouldn't say the number's high.
No,
So eventually they do all of it.
Yeah, and we,
Do they get hit with some interest on that or anything? Or?
they've been getting late fees every month.
Okay.
and then if they have an apartment.
Landlords will be so- yeah, Great.
Hey, Dan.
Thanks. I see I got a refund though of $46 on the $800 and some odd dollars that I got owed from one tenant.
Yep.
Hope you keep after her, Lori.
See what happens. Only if they're working.
And then Doug,
Sure.
there's certain people that just elect not to pay because they know they can't get shut off.
Right, that's what a lot of this is anyway.
There's
right?
Keens and, I never understood.
Yeah, I guess I don't either because that's
Yep.
one thing if you're actually growing, but it's the other thing if you just figure you don't want to pay it because it's dependent on something else. or something.
The other thing that happens is people don't pay all winter and then when they get their tax refund, they'll pay.
Oh,
Caught up. I've noticed that too.
because that's free money.
Yeah.
Right.
I will commend the girls down here for working as hard as they do to try to garnish people's avenues of income to reimburse customers. I haven't been successful in seeing much, but yeah, you get a landlord that gets 3 of them, to the tune of $800. That kind of hits you in the back
Yeah,
pocket,
sure
what
does.
have you. And I will say that before we moved down here, I think there was little to no effort being pursuing payments. I mean, after we kind of separated and got our own clerical staff down here, I got to say, when we were just sharing city employees, there was little to no effort as far as trying to collect from avenues that were available back then, whether as well. So I thank you as a landlord.
No, thank you. We did have a good year last year, I think. We had a bunch of refunds from that one Amanda or somebody.
All right. Anybody has any more comments on delinquent customers? Or we will move on to reports of officials. Utility account.
I had our pre-audit meeting with the auditors from Juneau Utility last month. Got a list of things together. They have a shared website type of thing that you can upload information to. So they put documents and requests in there, and then I go in there and find the information, and then I upload the answers to everything and spreadsheets and whatever else. So that's all up and running. They've got their lists already of requests in there. Got an email from them today with 8 things on it. So we're off and running first of the year for the audit and the year-end stuff. The other thing I was going to bring up is with the treatment plant getting the natural gas. I just kind of threw some numbers together last month when I got a bill, and it looks like the costs are going to be similar to the propane, if not a little bit cheaper, as far as we can estimate right now. But propane between 21, 22, and 2023, the average was about $9,000 a year that we were buying for propane. And right now, gas looks like it's about $8,500. So just a bit of a slight savings, but at least it's comparable. So.
But we're eating considerably more space now than what we were before, so.
A lot more BTUs.
So that's on the good side so far.
Eating more and using and paying less.
You guys make a 30-meat that's running 24/7, heat and air 24/7. So we're doing pretty well.
All right, anything else? Anybody have any questions for Lori? If not, we'll move on. Nick?
We're working on our remainder of our LED conversion. We did 24 on the decorative short, so we're doing on the short poles with the circular shroud fixtures. We're keeping the fixtures. We're pulling the guts out of it and doing a direct wire LED bulb in them now. It's really cost efficient as far as instead of changing them into an LED fixture, a fixture themselves is $400 and a bulb themselves is like $26. So we're gonna cut savings as far as fixture replacements. And obviously there'll be savings to the city.
Is that the lights that are like on Juneau Avenue?
Yep. So your neck of the woods just got it done.
Ours is done.
Yours is done. We're gonna be, actually they did one street up by you, the Highland Street. So the last road will be your road / the 2 side streets that correspond to those 2. So there's 8 that remain for the entire city. And then our full system will be fully LED, and we've seen a dramatic decrease in streetlight problems. Obviously with LED fixtures and LED bulbs. I mean, we used to, when I first started, we're fixing 20 streetlights a month probably. And we're down to none for months.
Oh, wow.
Every now and then you might get a faulty photo eye or something prematurely fails. But we started putting in the long-lasting LED or photo eyes. They're 20-year photo eyes, supposed to be. And they do a fail on, so if they fail, the fixture will be on. So it lets us notify. We know that the photo eye failed if the light's on during the day.
How's the lumen comparison between the LED and the?
So our LED is 100-watt equivalents. So instead of, because the light that emits that whiter light, they said if you're running a 150 or 250 even, that 100-watt equivalent is giving you the same light. So our full system is going to be 100-watt equivalent. So we're even going down even more dramatically in our wattage. Typically, it's right now it's 36 watts is the photo eyes or the fixtures that we're putting in, bulb we're putting in. But a lot of those streets were 150s, and we're putting 100-watt equivalent bulbs in. So, and people seem seen that with it. We had one complaint saying that, it's a little lighter of a light, so it's like, well, this is an industrial park, but I then reached out to a couple people down that street, and everybody seems to be happy with it, except this one person, so. It matches the rest of the lighting around town too, and obviously I think there's a little bit of a, an adjustment period that takes people to get used to it, so.
Those are 250s that were going out on DJ, weren't they?
On DJ.
When the high pressure sodium.
Yeah, it's, the main roads were 250s, so like S and 26 and.
I think that's where you can see a little bit of diminished in lumens. One thing about the high pressure sodium, they did cut the fog well and stuff like that. And my wife just walks it and she said, they don't seem as bright as the old fixtures, whatever. I said, well, they probably aren't, but I says they're pulling about a tenth of the power.
And I did a lot of talking to a lot of communities before I decided to go to that 100-watt, and there's always the opposite side of things. Like a lot of people were putting 250 equivalents up with where 250s were. And it was so bright that the complaints they were getting were they downsized them to 150s, and they still had complaints and went down to 100. So
we had 400s for years in the downtown.
yeah, there were some that were 400s. Yeah,
And yeah, when the decorative ones come out now, that's when I probably, they're not very bright. So just give it some time to get used to it too. It's a different kind of light.
so yeah, 8 remain, and that'll cut a lot of. We're pretty minimal on issues already, so those will be done most likely tomorrow.
There's a huge savings in the KW consumption for the city of Juneau. They definitely did them a favor by cutting down. I mean, they're saving thousands of dollars a year.
And unfortunately, with how things were set up before, where city owned some and we owned some, there was never billing that was taking place when we were fixing fixtures in the past, and that was kind of the big push as far as both of us getting, a reward out of it. One, we weren't going out and wasting time fixing fixtures that weren't getting billed in the first place, and now there's a savings for them on the KWH. So, December 23rd, we had an outage at 360 North Main Street. It was a secondary fault. The lady actually was having power issues for about a day and a half. And then finally, I got a message on my phone. If a meter sees power failure or a drop of the leg, it'll actually text message me now. So I ended up calling her on December 23rd that morning and just asked if she was experiencing issues. And she goes, yeah, I was actually going to call an electrician after she got home from work. And I said, we verified that it's on our end, and we fault located it, found it in the boulevard. We had Houston come with their back trailer because they have a hot box on their back trailer to cut through the frost. That worked really slick, and we had them fixed in about 4 hours. So we did put on the server saver, which is a device that you can take one phase, one of their legs, and put it into two. Just trying to get her. She said her furnace was off, so we wanted to get her house up to heat before in those 4 hours. So we got it all up and running, and it worked out slick. With that, it got me thinking about the hot box for our back trailer. I did call Vermeer, and that is a add-on that they can do in our build. I don't have it on this agenda, but I wanted to bring it up and talk to you guys to see what you guys thought. It's a $9,200 add-on. And we typically have faults do take place in the winter and fall because frost is setting in, moisture gets into the cable, and that's typically when our faults take place. Mostly it takes place beginning of March where there's still frost in the ground. What we've been doing up to this point is we have a cut-off barrel that we put a heater on, and we got to heat it for about a full day before we can get cut through the frost. I wanted to just feel you guys out to see what you guys thought about the add-on. What I would do is I would just adjust my junction and transformer budget and decrease it that much. It's add one transformer. Obviously, it's not on the agenda, but I wanted to see what you guys thought because they're about to start our build on the back trailer, and it's gonna cost us more to add it after the trailer's already built. So that's the only reason I'm bringing this up now.
How many times a year?
I say, well, it depends on the year. There's been a
Well-
year that we had 8 secondary faults, but the last year we had 1 secondary fault.
With this used to surcharges to, used to surcharges to.
So for them to come over, it was $450. And granted, they don't charge us what they probably should, but that's kind of a mutual agreement.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I mean, if they call us for a piece of our equipment, we're gonna
Right.
charge them, and we're not gonna gouge them either.
Right, exactly.
3 years of Avon pays for it.
Oh, and that's what I was thinking, like,
How long,
We have this-
what's the life of the,
we have a 10-year replacement on the back trailers. So I wanted to bring it up. I know we can't formally decide on it, but I wanted to see what you guys were thinking. That way I can prematurely call them and say yes, and then I would adjust the budget.
But you can pull the money from somewhere else.
Yeah, so right now we have $50,000 transformer replacement. I did an inventory on our transformer stocks that we have. We have enough transformers to do what we're replacing this year. So that $50,000 is mostly going to be used for junction boxes and not transformers. And junction boxes are significantly less than what transformer boxes are. So that 9,200 in the transformer budget wouldn't be an impact to it. So it'd still be budgeted if I adjust that transformer cost. And I'm open for what you guys think. I think it's a smart move because I think in 10 years it's gonna pay for itself.
that's a reasonable.
So that's, that's 20 trips for uses for.
Yep.
And when you go to sell it.
So 20 would be 4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years, yeah. And that's not counting our, I guess that wouldn't be counting our streetlight faults, and we have a lot of those. I guess I didn't even consider that. I was thinking about what our secondary faults were to our customers. Streetlights, we have a significant amount of those. We probably have 8 or 9 streetlight faults a year because it's low amperage and usually takes a long time, and for some reason stretches along, like Highland Street, for example. We probably have six places in that section on South Highland.
In the winter.
In the winter, yeah. Yeah, February, March is, beginning of March is when it's really bad, because most
What
are starting to sit
about,
back
what
in.
about downtime? We're waiting for uses for it to come.
Well, that's the thing, we got luck, because they were in the middle of a job, and Cade was able to pull away from it to come over, so Cade did us a solid by leaving his project to come do it, so. I think it's a smart move. They didn't, I guess I didn't ask for them to even give me that addition or add-on when they first provided the quote, just because we didn't have it. I didn't think about it as an option, but then here's this first one that just hit now, and says a lot of good things about it. And it doesn't, talking to Nick Cooker, the apprentice that works here, and dealing with him quite a bit, I asked about maintenance, like, is this gonna cause a lot of maintenance to the back trailer itself? And he said, no, it's pretty self-sufficient. You put it in a recirc mode where you already have RV antifreeze in it, and it's all it is a valve that you turn, and you start up in the shop. It goes in a recirc, adds a little bit of antifreeze to the water lines, and then you put the pump on low heat so that the water lines don't freeze when you're driving it from point A to point B, and then you just turn it up once you get to the site for hotter temperature. And when you get it back into the heated shop, then there's nothing to worry about because you're back into the heated storage. So he says they're pretty bulletproof.
Is this a desirable thing for like the private outfits that would buy it on resale?
Oh, absolutely.
Like
Yeah.
you get, a lot of those
And
guys want them.
we actually thought about other things to use it for. Like, I don't know if you ever have frozen valves. Can you take that hose down a frozen valve and shoot hot water at it and then have it open up a valve? Probably. I don't know.
Doesn't seem like an unreasonable thing to do.
So basically what I'm looking for is a consensus, like what you guys, if you guys would support that in the next month's meeting, then I would call them and let them know that, we'd officially be approving it.
I'm thinking as long as it ain't an add-on, you can get the money from somewhere, you got something you already got budgeted.
Yeah, so I would adjust the transformer junction budget from 50,000 to 40,800 is what I would do.
And then we got it. If we need it, we got it.
Right.
Um,
And we are our own utility, so that's all part of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Have any equipment.
I guess I see no problem with it,
Yeah,
that would be my opinion.
Dick, what do you think?
About it next month, sure.
Alrighty, we started our tree trimming along, the Goose Trail. We identified, 3 small areas. The 2 main areas that we're focusing on are our meter poles by, Sensient's, treatment facility, pre-treatment facility. There's poles, sucker trees that are growing closer to the tree, where if a tree would impact those poles, it would be pretty devastating as far as the metering equipment that's there. So we're going to be taking care of that end of this week, next week. We inspected some cutouts. We did a full cutout inspection actually through town to identify the remaining porcelain cutouts that we have left on our system. And the reason we do that is porcelain cutouts are starting to crack with the life expectancy of them. And it's especially a problem in the winter if we have a cutout that fuse drops open and we have to close it during the winter. They'll crack on you, and then you have a live tail that's on top and the cutout's broken, and you're kind of in a oh crap moment where you have to hopefully have a buddy person, someone up in the bucket with you to then maintain the top side and the bottom side at the same time. So what we did is we identified 87 cutouts. We're going to formalize a replacement schedule or plan within our budget of what to replace this year. And we'll be doing those replacements throughout the year. We'll probably do a quarter of them this year, a quarter of them next year, and for 4 years. So
Replacing them with something other than porcelain then, or?
yeah, so they're all polymer now, and they last. We don't know how long they're gonna last, but they've been out for. That's everything new that we put in now is polymer, and you don't have to worry about them cracking. So, actually, a part of our training every year is crack cutouts because it's so common now. ATC update on January 12th. There's going to be a clearance made for ATC to start their pole and conductor replacements through the Juneau Muni tap and the Juneau Industrial tap. So the section of the city that it affects us. Starting on January 26th, we will need to have our north substation offline until February 2nd. And that outage is specifically designed for them to do their phasing once everything is tied back in. So new poles are in, new conductors are strong, and then they use that outage to then do their transmission phasing. We already have our switching procedures in plan for us to backfeed north substation on the 26th. But starting January 12th, we'll have to have our 5 spans of underbuild that's on the transmission poles de-energized and grounded for them. And we also have switching plans designed and set up for when that happens as well. We had our WPPI meeting, our budget approval. Mac's going to touch a little bit of space on that. But they talked about our going in with our transmission projects, how that's going to give us lower wholesale power costs because now we're in the game with cheaper costs through our wholesale power because we actually own the transmission lines that are in place. We also talked about load securement with Point Beach. You can touch base a little bit on that as well. But all in all, WPPI's future does look good and emphasized on load securement in a time and place where data centers are being a big talk. And they actually did give us a little bit more information on data centers where they are creating a committee, or I shouldn't say committee, a force of staff that if we are approached by people that are interested in data centers, that they have people that are trained and ready to come to assist in answering questions to the city alderman, to the citizens, to staff, etc. So they are doing their due diligence to be prepared for anything that may be in our future. MEW came and tested our sticks and grounds. Everything tested out good. The guys tested our harnesses and other safety equipment, which we do on an annual basis. Some things we do on a 6-month basis. They did some equipment repairs, mostly to our aluminum trailer. We had a nail in one tire that was inspected. We always go through our equipment really thoroughly this time of the year. We had two nails in one tire that was repaired, and also there was a couple lights out on blinker lights that were fixed as well. I'll be calling to schedule our rubber good testing. We get our gloves, sleeves tested every 6 months. They go through rotation, as well as our line hose and line blankets that we use for when we're hotline or working things hot. I have the MEW Superintendent Conference next week. I'll be part of one of the breakout sessions discussing the tornado recovery procedures that were taken here. I was also reached out by the state for the Governor Evers Conference to present as well. That has now been canceled, but we're still going to prepare a PowerPoint because it sounds like they're going to have a makeup conference for that as well. And then I wanted to discuss, there was an invoice to a customer. It was affected by Alex as well, where a customer dug in his own lateral and own water lateral, and they hit a bunch of our secondary services. They have still yet to pay that invoice. It's been, I don't remember what month that was.
Last April.
So Lori and I kind of discussed pretty lightly about it today on what steps we should take. And I think what we're going to do is talk to the PSC first to see, can this be something we can enforce to a customer bill, and then they be disconnected for not paying it. But we're going to seek further actions of what we can do with that.
Do you had any dialogue with them?
As far as
Speaking with the department?
yeah, I spoke to him 4 months ago, and if you knew about this customer, he's says what you want to hear, and no actions are taken.
So he's got no excuse for not paying it.
No.
And he understands he's got to pay it.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been sending them notices.
If you can shut him off, shut him off.
Yeah, right. And that's what we're
very active within the Juneau community page. And they probably feel that it was prompted by the fact that I made them do it in the first place.
Oh, jeez.
Because they needed to get rid of their lead water line. So
I think it's I think it was about 1900.
Yeah, I think it's 19 something.
So there's a lot of parties that were involved. One was the electric department for, I think it was about 4 hours, equipment, materials, then Troy having to fix the bill.
with curb stop.
Yeah, the curb stop. So we're looking to recover those costs, obviously. So we'll be
If he
working on that.
If he knew what he was doing, he could avoid it all.
They didn't even have to go all the way to the curb stop.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
They had copper going past the sidewalk.
Yeah. Could have stayed away from all your stuff.
So yeah, that's all I got.
All right, anybody have any questions for Nick? If not, moving on, Alex.
First item I have for business was to talk about getting some pipe racking purchased for the wastewater treatment plant. I'll preface this with that it is approved to be purchased through the wastewater treatment plant loan. So it doesn't need to be specifically budgeted for at this time if we decide to go for it. I guess that's just kind of a general picture of what we're looking at, but it'd be multiple sections long because we're using longer pipe. I'll also say that between this and just so you guys know, the only remaining purchases that I have that I intend to put through to the wastewater treatment plant loan are this pipe racking, a new walk behind snow blower, and a flagpole addition of the property at the wastewater plant. So we're pretty much we're almost done with spending money on that loan, just so you kind of know what's left.
Almost done?
Almost. But basically what we're looking to do is put that pipe racking in at our, the old storage garage so that we can, have some packets, basically just to, kind of show the condition that we have. Is that, pictures on the back just kind of show that we got pipes and hoses kind of laying all over. And the biggest concern is when you're trying to grab stuff off the shelving that you're stepping over conduit and pipe, and it's kind of a tripping safety hazard. So then, another picture, we just got pipe and stuff that's on top of pallet racking that's pulling it off with a ladder is not safe in general. So, and this is just 2 locations that we have pipe laying around. That we have pipe in more places than just those that could certainly be more organized and stored in a better manner.
Will
So,
the rack, will the racks be against the wall?
so we're getting pallet racking within the new garage. That's going to take most of this inventory off the wood shelving. So then the pipe racking would be against the wall. Yes. But we're going to move the pallet racking in the picture on the right is going to get moved to the back wall of the old garage. And then we're hoping to put pipe racking along both sides of the old storage garage. So that should be plenty of space for all of the everything we have laying around to get put in a much more orderly fashion. These racks come at a price, obviously. Just as a middle ground of kind of between because you got to kind of pick how heavy duty you want to and how many racks you want. We came up with $7,500 is what we're looking for this racking to be purchased. That would be racking along both sides of that storage garage. So it would be 7 sections of pipe racking.
And that's the contingency part of the loan?
Yeah, so I really should start coming with the number that's in balance on that. I bet there's far and above the amount still remaining, so.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to purchase the pipe racking for wastewater treatment plant for $7,500 using the contingency loan funds.
Yep, funds.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Dick and second by Art to purchase the pipe racking at a cost of $7,500. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you. Moving just to projects updates. December 2nd, we dropped off our new truck at Utility Sales and Services. They completed the upfitting for us to get it in the shape that we want to use it. And it was picked up on December 22nd. Then Troy got it all set up and outfitted and tools put in it, and he's pretty excited to get to use the new truck now. So that's good. You'll see that around. It looks pretty spiffy. I did December 4th, I mailed a letter to the jail about the sampling methods that we talked about at the last meeting. Basically, we have not heard back anything in regard to it, because I had asked, what's the minimum amount of time that I would need to give you in order for us to complete sampling on your jail facility, and we haven't heard anything back, so I don't know if I ruffled any feathers or if it just didn't go anywhere or what, but might have to.
And we did send it to 2 people.
Yeah, we emailed it and we mailed it, so might have to kick that back in. They should. I don't know if they have to talk about it at their meetings or what, but we picked up.
They have to come up with a different plan.
Well, we'll figure out what their explanation is going to be. Maybe, I don't know. We picked up our new trailer that we had voted to purchase last month as well from White Farm Sales, just west of town. On December 4th as well. December 9th, we relocated our raw wastewater sampler upstairs to the middle of the building so that operators wouldn't have to walk all the way around the outside of the building. Now that that space was considered a rated atmosphere, so we couldn't share the same entrance. So we moved our sampler so it's more accessible. We also had Peeper Electric came to L3 to complete our replacement of our feeder wire to our well pump itself, which was not done within the generator and electrical project that we had done previously. So now all the wiring I shouldn't say all, most of the wiring within that building has been replaced. And then they also, while they were there, wired in the new exhaust fan that was budgeted for and installed by Klecker's HVAC that was recently completed as well at well 3. We did pick up some pallet racking for the new storage garage to move the inventory that we saw in these pictures. And that's now installed in the new storage garage. While completing a meter change at Landmark Credit Union, I broke their valve on the plumbing, trying to turn it with a wrench like I wasn't supposed to. So I'm gonna have to pay for a plumber to come and fix that, I think.
The ball valve, isn't it?
That was a gate valve, and the first one I was able to work loose, and the second one snapped when I got it halfway closed. So we'll have to get that repaired for them. We'll have a plumber come to do that so we can complete the service very soon here. I'm just glad it was me, not one of my employees. It was one of those do as I say, not as I do moments. Otherwise, we had to update our lead service line inventory, which is just an annual thing that we do with the DNR now. We're down to one unknown service and one galvanized service here in town that remain. Someday the EPA will probably change that galvanized service will have to be replaced, but as of today, it does not. We did receive a response for our annual CMAR, which we send in every March. It's basically stating the year in review for the wastewater plant to the DNR. So now, 8 months later, they responded to say, good job. We got a 3.86 GPA by their standards. So the only things that we could have improved on was we did have some issues with our discharge of ammonia in December, which did carry on through January and February of last winter. So our 2025 numbers will be a little bit skewed as well, but overall 3.86 I think is pretty good. January 5th, so this last Sunday, you'll see on the other side of your handout, that's the collection area highlighted for lift station 1. And we're kind of at a loss for what could have done this, but the middle of the day on Sunday, that lift station just suddenly received an estimated amount of 8,750 gallons in a period of 20 minutes. So both pumps ran continuously for 20 minutes straight, trying to pump it down and keep the levels in the sewer under control. We really are at a loss for where it could have came from. I called Chief Beal because he happened to be on duty at the time, just to say, hey, can you go around and double check quick while you're in town? You know, if somebody was dumping something, or if we had water on the street somewhere. And he said he didn't find anything. And I had Troy came in, he got called in, but he's a little further away, obviously. And he didn't see anything, really out of the ordinary either. And by the time he had got there, all the flow had subsided. So if anybody's aware of anybody dumping water or anywhere that a very large amount of water could come at one time, I'm all ears. We spitballed a little bit this afternoon with the electric guys, and Nikki kind of thought maybe because our water main break was just west of Fairfield Ave on North Street, and that did infiltrate into that sewer eventually. Maybe a pipe cracked or something in there, and all the water spewed out of the road base. That could maybe get you there, for that amount of water, but that's really fast for that amount of water to come in. You're talking 500 gallons a minute, basically. It's, we're kind of at a loss.
Does anybody in that area have that kind of capacity to dump that much water at one time?
Not really.
The basement completely flooded.
Well, it's
somebody with a pool in their basement or something.
semi-load of water, I guess.
Yeah, more than a semi-load of water, so I don't know. I guess we're gonna keep monitoring, and I might have the area around where that water main break was televised this coming year for sewer, just to make sure nothing goofy happened, undermining that pipe. But
Is this the pump station?
Yep, the square is the pump station, yeah. So that's really all I can do at this point. But we had.
Do you know, is the current water on yet?
I don't think it was ever shut off.
I know their basement burst at that one time.
Right. Well, that was their fire protection, but I thought that was turned back on.
Still, you'd have a heck of a pump.
Well, if you're gonna
500
pump
gallons a
that, that's
minute,
exactly
that's a
like
heck of a
both
pump.
of our lift station pumps running in tandem
Yeah, that's a heck of a pump just feeding it.
just to feed it, exactly. So you'd see that on the power side of things, probably. A spike in power usage, separate from obviously our pumps, but I don't know. I guess if anybody has ideas, feel free to let me know. But, yeah, that's what I ran into. And we'll continue to monitor, I guess, and see what happens. And it's not that it's a huge deal. The biggest thing that we worry about is, the potential for basements to have flooded if your lift station can't keep up. So if we continue to have these high flows coming from somewhere, we're gonna have to figure it out, just because we can't have customers. Mac would be one of the first people to know. But if your basement gets wet,
The
yeah,
thing is too, it's not like it stopped all of a sudden. Like
it just
after 20
like drained
minutes,
out.
It's not like
Yeah.
it continued. It's still pumping at a higher rate than what it was.
No, it
like-
came right back to normal. So
That is weird.
yeah, and
Or like you said, possibly like if it was a partially blocked, then it let loose. But you think
Right,
that
but
people
if it
were
was-
complaining.
if there was a section that had a blockage to have that volume of water, I mean, that would be 30% of that area would have to be full of water. Come up, if the pipe's full, that's what I had, the volume of all those pipes combined is only 20,000 gallons. So that's almost saying a third of your system was full. It doesn't make sense to me.
It's a heck of a plug.
Well, exactly. You know? So I don't know. I certainly don't have all the answers, but we'll let you know if we find where it came from, I guess. Beyond that, we were asked by a local trade magazine for wastewater operators if we wanted to be highlighted as a cover article within their magazine on the basis of our new wastewater treatment plant upgrades. So
Yeah.
we'll try to work that out to see how what we can put together, but get some more publicity out there. And good news is,
Just not water.
well, wastewater. And I haven't gotten any complaints for water, so
Martel came today though?
Yeah.
And they do the chlorine or whatever, because we noticed it in the bathroom
oh
with the toilet water.
yeah, we actually
No, I still when they come.
oh huh. Ironically, we all three ran completely out with chlorine before they came today, which we try not to do, obviously, but so if there was any bad water in the last 2 days, I would say that was why. But yeah, that's all I got for today.
All right. Anybody have any questions for Alex? If not, we will move on. Nick and I attended the annual meeting of WPPI. Was very interesting. Again, they went on there looking at what things to purchase. I mean, the ATC line is still up in the air whether they're going to be able to be in on that or not. They renegotiated the White Beach nuclear plant where we're getting electricity from, so, which is a good thing.
Yeah, we had a member consensus. Their initial reaction to the contract was that the cost was maybe a little higher than what they expected. But we did a member vote as far as what we thought was more important, because the big scare right now is both securement and having the power to provide to the customers. And that seemed to be a priority over us not renewing that contract and us searching for potential cheaper contracts, but then you run the risk of a lot of other utilities are going to be doing the same thing. Alliant Energy, WPS, investor owns that have probably a lot more pull and deeper pockets to secure those load requirements. So
But our wholesale power cost is lower than the other ones.
yep, and even with this, yep, we still remain
Still remain the lowest. So, which is always good to hear.
We still remain the lowest, but it is going up.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm afraid to say
Yeah.
very little goes down, it goes up. I have some dates. The legislative rally, which went too late for people to get into now, is being held at the end of February. I don't think anybody here wants to join the Joint Action Leadership Certification, which is a 2-year program. They train you about what WPPI does, and it is interesting. Goes into the finances and everything.
It's a little bit more geared towards like utility staff, but there has been board members that have done it just to get a better understanding of how utility financing, HR.
Nick and I have gone through it. It was worth it. The regional power dinner will be June, the one that we're in, June 17th at Okachi Lake,
Same place as before.
same place as before. And, where, I might have missed it here on there.
Orientation should be in June.
Orientation. It's in March. Oh, no, excuse me, I take that back. 11th of June and October 8th. So if anybody wants to go down and for orientation, I will try and get you there. And we'll have some new aldermen, maybe they'd like to go as well and find out about it. So that's all I have. Mr. Mayor?
Just one thing, I'm kind of surprised that Nick didn't bring it up. As of the first year, Todd Tessman from Juneau Utilities have retired from this position. Todd and I go all the way back when I was working for the utility, and he was an electrician then, and then he came in to work for Juneau Utility and what have you. I don't want to talk out of turn here, but I think it'd be appropriate for all the good relationship we've had with Todd. I would think it'd be a good idea for us to at least get a plaque of appreciation for the time that he's spent mutual aiding our community here, especially during the tornado. He was up front with that first and foremost. And I just think it's kind of a good practice if we could do that.
We can make that happen.
Yeah.
You guys are, I did talk to him for a while. And,
It's gonna be hard on him.
He's been, oh yeah, it's gonna be hard because he's, as far as work was his life, and he is very passionate about his job. And I told him, I said, as far as someone that was really young in my career coming into the role, being able to have him, easily accessible to run things by him, it was extremely beneficial for me anyways, and for the utility, so we can do so.
Makes sense.
I've been routinely getting plaques of appreciation for members that standard that I set, basically because we weren't doing anything at the time because we had a city clerk that said we couldn't do anything. And after I became mayor, we've had a pretty good rapport with that mixed trophy place over in Beaver Dam. And, anybody that's got 10 years of service to the community receives a plaque. That's kind of the standard that I set up. So if you're an alderman for 10 years, if you're on a committee for 10 years, you're crossing guard for 10 years, you wind up with a plaque. So they're really very affordable. He does a nice job. And, I would think that would be very appropriate, and I think Todd would appreciate it. I know as president of the utility, I presented the Hughesford Commission with a plaque for helping on a mutual aid incident. I think it was probably when we were without a director or without anybody in charge here, and they were coming over for service calls all the time, and when we were in between superintendents and what have you. And I did present the commission with a plaque of appreciation for the help that they have given us. But Todd's an outstanding individual. I think it'd be a good thing.
All righty. Thank you.
No problem.
All right. Any old business? Any new business?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Bart, second by Dick to adjourn. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
That's 7 p.m.
Okay.
Aye.
That's 3 in a row, gentlemen.